Hey everybody, I'm going to start out a little oddly today with an admission of something from my early days in SolidWorks that I kind of avoided getting into a couple of subjects. One was surface modeling and the other was lofting. And I basically saw them as, oh, those fancy curvy stuff, and it looked too complicated, and there's too, it's hard to get control over or whatever. So uh, that has changed. I'm comfortable with both areas, and I'm going to give a demo right now on lofting, and sometime later I'll do one on surface modeling. But lofting can be extremely useful for things that are slightly organic, or sometimes people call it curvy stuff. If you can just extrude, revolve, cut, use all of our usual tools to make your shape, you're good to go. You don't need to loft. And lofting doesn't come up that much unless you're doing kind of curvy things. If you're an industrial or product designer or something like that, then you'll need more curvy stuff. So I'm going to keep this real basic, just enough to kind of introduce the idea. In order to use lofting, you've got to have two, and I'd start with this anyway, two parallel planes is a good way to start, so that you can have a sketch on one, sketch on the other, and then loft between them. It's kind of an old, probably Navy or aircraft term or whatever, to loft a curve that blends between some points. We don't have to plot out the points or do anything fancy here. It kind of thinks for us on a lot of this. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to grab the right plane, right click on it, and tell it to show, because I'm going to use it. And then I'm going to just hold down Control, grab a hold of that guy, and drag him to the right and make a copy. And then just let go and hit OK. And right now, since I'm just doodling, I don't care what that distance is. I just wanted them far enough apart to see that we're doing something. Actually, I'd like it a little farther apart, so I'm going to double click on it and change this number, which was completely random. Come on now. There we go. To 9 inches, just to get them a little farther apart. Update that so you'll see them move. Okay. So now we can draw a sketch on this plane and a sketch on this plane and do a model that connects between them. And it's going to be a simple one. It actually is from a real design that I worked on for my leaf blower. I know everybody loves those. I wanted a nozzle on there so I could kind of aim it more carefully into the gutter to clean out the gutter every once in a while. So with that kind of design in mind, let's start with the base here on this sketch. Just going to draw a circle because that's the connector end to my leaf blower. And again, I'm not going to worry about size or dimensions or anything. This is just proportionally going to make sense. So there's the circular base. Then go to the other sketch, the other plane I should say, and start a sketch. And I'm going to use the slot shape because that was my way of kind of getting down to a narrowing of this opening, and I am just eyeballing that. I do want it to be centered, and it looks like I accidentally, no, I almost did. So I'm going to Control grab both of those points, the midpoint of each, and make them coincident. So it is in the middle, and that way it'll be symmetrical if I change the size later, and it'll make more sense in the middle. Okay, so I'm done with those two sketches. Now, as soon as you see this, you kind of see that you couldn't hardly build this model any other way but to loft it. And of course there are ways. You could kind of sculpt it into shape. But this is definitely the easiest way. So I'm going to go to Features, Loft, and I give you a tip right away, is when you go to grab these cross sections, these sketches that you're going to loft between, grab them at about the same place on the clock, so to speak. Like I'm grabbing it up here in the upper left hand corner of this circle, and I'm going to grab this guy kind of in the upper left hand corner as well. What that'll do is, see these little green handles here, it'll keep those kind of lined up so that we don't get any twist. I'll just twist one so you can see what we might accidentally get. And you can kind of see that's twisted. Might be the cool shape you're looking for, but it's definitely not what I'm looking for in this case. So I'm just going to slide this eventually, come on you, back up to in line and say OK. We already have a shape that is the transition from this circle to the slot shape that really would be tricky to model any other way. So that's just a straight loft. It's doing what I call going as the crow flies, that it's lofting from this sketch here to this sketch here directly, just straight in line. Well, I actually didn't want that in my design. I kind of wanted it to come straight out a little ways from this sketch and straight out a little ways from this sketch and then start into kind of an S-curve or OG curve transition. Easy to do. So I'm just going to go right click on the loft, edit that feature, and I usually just sort of aim it sideways, that is, so I'm looking at it from the side so I can get a feel for the design that I'm going for. And then if I go over here, right near the top, there's this start end constraints. I can change the way that it acts at the start and the end. So it says none. I'm going to change that to normal to profile. And look what happens. In relation to this sketch, it's now normal or perpendicular to that sketch. And I'm going to leave that. I think it looks fine. But I want it at both ends. So I'm going to go ahead and apply it to the other one, the end constraint. And you can see that that's much more of the kind of funnel shape that I need for blowing the leaves out of the gutter or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that. So you already see pretty powerful tool. Basically being able to go from one shape to another and smoothly blend between them. Let's go a little bit further. This is about as simple as it gets. Two sketches in line with each other, that is centered on each other, parallel to each other. So let's go a little further. I'm going to get rid of that loft. I'm just going to delete it. So we're back down to the sketches. I'm going to control grab this plane and make another parallel plane out here somewhere. Again, I'm just doodling, but it'll give you the idea, I hope. And now we can put another shape on there. And just to be different, just to grab something, I'm going to make it just a smaller circle. So I'll put a sketch on this plane. Go to circle. I'm going ahead and leaving this aligned, that is, just right down the middle. And now you can kind of visualize ahead what this is going to look like. It's going to be a little odd looking, but it's okay. It's kind of an organic shape. So back to features, loft. Again, grab it in about the same place. Doesn't have to be precise, but it'll help it not twist. So I grab it in the upper left or the lower right, or whatever. And you can see that we can really get some interesting shapes. I guess that's looking roughly horn-like or vase-like or whatever, something like that. Okay, so it's really pretty straightforward. This is all I show to a student as the first step, is just look that you can do what you can do between these different planes. Now let's change it up a little bit. We stayed with absolutely inline sketches. I'm going to go ahead and leave the loft in this time, but let's go edit one of those sketches. I'm going to edit that middle one that was the slot shape, and let's move it. So it probably has a relationship here. Let's see. Yeah. So I'm getting rid of this relationship. And I'm going to grab this line and it's the center line that controls the slot. And, oh, it won't quite let me here. I still got more relations there. Grab that and delete it. I'm going to leave the one that showed it as horizontal. But now I can just kind of move this. And I'm intentionally leaving it in line one way and out of alignment, that is not centered, the other way. So you can see that it acts different. It's just going to follow those planes, those sketches, wherever they go. Okay, so let's go even one more step. Let's go edit that sketch again. Actually, let's edit a different one just for the fun of it. Let's edit this little guy. And let's move him out of alignment so he's not even horizontal or vertically aligned, just off in space somewhere. So I'm just going to move him like way over here. It's going to start making this thing very sculptural and kind of odd looking, but that's part of the idea, is you want to see that you can get control over this. So I would say literally that's kind of enough to be dangerous. You saw that we can play with the end constraints and get this to act differently. You saw that we can use multiple planes. We can align them with each other. I think that's a great place to start. Very simple basics, but once you play with it a few times, you'll start to get control over it. That's all.